anytime that you are working with patients whose mobility especially is an issue, which was a large group of patients that I worked with. When you are transporting them especially, or even when you are just setting them up to get them out of the bed and put them in a wheelchair, many times they're cold, or if they're not cold, they worry about their privacy. They want to be covered up. So we were always taking blankets and wrapping the blankets around them, and when you do that, then you've got edges falling off, and it's definitely not an ideal situation. With the LoveKet, with the blanket, definitely that would solve that issue for a patient because it would be very fitted, and it would provide the warmth, it would provide them with privacy, and also just the softness of it. It just provides a feeling of comfort, I think. One of the things that I think would be a great value with this LoveKet is when patients are in the hospital and family and friends really want to do something. People want to help, but they often don't know what to do to help. And they may even call and say, what do you need help? What do you need? And the people will say, well, not really anything, or not sure. But this would be a perfect gift, because who would not need this? It's a pillow, it's a blanket, and it represents the thoughtfulness and the love. Well, my husband had cancer, and he was having a stem cell transplant, and we were 13 hours away from any family or friends or our church or anyone else that we knew. Just he and myself. And there was a church in that community, in that city, that kind of adopted us, and a church member came to visit us, and they brought a blanket. They called it a prayer shawl, and they brought it as a gift. And on the back of that blanket was a tag that said, "Made with prayers and love." And they also had sewed a little tiny cross in that blanket. And a couple days after they brought that blanket, my husband developed an infection and became very critically ill, had a severe chill with fevers, and was just freezing. And he had already had all kinds of blankets on him, but he was just saying, cover me up with something. And I looked and I saw that blanket lying there, and I grabbed it and I threw it over him. And I know that just that one blanket did not make the difference, because he needed lots of blankets. But when I hugged him, and when I laid my head on that blanket, and the softness of that blanket and what it represented to me, I was so scared. And when I looked at that blanket, and that blanket was covering him, it was as though I saw faith and hope in a real form. It was no longer just just something that we can't feel. I could actually feel hope and faith and love. And it meant the love of the people who brought it to us, and the love of God. And it was it represented such hope for me and such faith. And through that long night, every time that blanket got me through, was one of the things that got me through that night. Certainly not the only thing, but it represented so much for me. And even today, it's been 4 years, and that blanket is lying on the back of our sofa. And every time I look at that blanket, I'm reminded all over again of what it stands for, what it means, and it represents a gift of love and of faith and of hope. And I would see that the LoveKet could be a very similar type of thing, because whoever brought that to them would be bringing it in love, and it also would represent, I think, the love of God. So I would see that it could serve the same kind of purpose, and I personally know how much that kind of a gift means to you.